After 2 years of marriage and 5 months into my pregnancy, I orchestrated my own social death. My husband Ethan was keeping a mistress on the side, and his lover Chloe had the audacity to show up at our door with her own pregnancy bump, the same size as mine, to taunt me. Even the pregnancy gifts I received were just Chloe's rejects. The irony? This whole farce began with my own kind-hearted suggestion. By the time Ethan believed I had died in an accident and was frantically searching for me, I was already across the ocean beginning my second life. Some people and some things are best dealt with by simply deleting them from your life. Yes, I confirm. Proceed with the identity cancellation. The formal confirmation came through the receiver, tinged with a barely perceptible coldness of routine procedure. I held my phone fingers ice cold, yet my voice remained eerily calm, as if confirming an insignificant takeout order. Hanging up, I noticed how the sunlight streamed through the Venetian blinds, casting striped patterns of light and shadow across the floor. Much like my current state of mind, half-frozen resolve, half-suppressed darkness. Identity cancellation. It sounds like something from a movie carrying a sense of desperate sacrifice. But for me, it was more like a programmer debugging code, discovering an irreparable bug causing system crashes and choosing to delete the module entirely to rebuild the system. Olivia was about to completely disappear in a social sense. Erasing all traces: marriage records, academic credentials, bank accounts, social media platforms. Every digital and paper record proving Olivia ever existed would be zeroed out. Becoming a ghost. A living, dead person. This decision wasn't impulsive, but the optimal solution after precise calculations and repeated deliberation. The lock turned with a slight click, interrupting my thoughts. Ethan was home. He carried bags of various sizes, wearing a perfectly calibrated, tender smile. As usual, he looked tired from his day, but eager to display his devotion to family. Olivia, darling, I'm back. Look what I got. He proudly held up his shopping bags containing the newest pregnancy pillow, imported folic acid supplements, and several soft, adorable onesies. Didn't the doctor say you haven't been sleeping well? This brand of pregnancy pillow has the best reviews. Pure natural latex. And this folic acid is supposed to have the best absorption. I also picked up some baby clothes, all Class A pure cotton. Do you like them? As he spoke, he expertly put everything away, his movements gentle, his tone attentive, his eyes full of anticipation for me and our unborn child. A few hours ago, I might have still been caught up in this perfect husband performance, touched by his thoughtfulness. Now I only felt nauseous. His performance was too committed, too convincing, every detail flawless. Perfect, like meticulously written code running smoothly without errors. Unfortunately, even the most perfect program can hide a fatal backdoor. And I had just recently glimpsed the truth behind that backdoor. I stroked my slightly rounded belly, feeling the baby's movements, forcing a gentle smile onto my face. Thank you, Ethan. You didn't have to go to all this trouble. He walked over, gently embracing me from behind, resting his chin on top of my head, his voice deep and satisfied. For you and the baby, anything is worth it. His warm embrace, once my most dependable haven, now only filled me with bone-chilling cold. 3 hours earlier at Apex Innovations Tower, 36th floor. On a whim, I decided to surprise Ethan with his favorite matcha cake. Since becoming pregnant, I rarely visited his company. He always said it was too busy and crowded, afraid I'd get tired. The elevator took me directly to the executive floor. Just as I stepped out, I heard hushed gossip from several female employees in the break room. Is it true? Chloe's pregnant too. Absolutely true. She said it herself not even 3 months along. Someone saw Ethan taking her to prenatal checkups, being incredibly attentive. By God. But isn't the CEO's wife also? Sure. Keep it down. Exactly. The CEO's wife is 5 months pregnant. Can you believe it? One at home, one on the side, both pregnant around the same time. I heard Ethan pays way more attention to Chloe than to his wife. Imported supplements, high-end nutritionists, everything flows to Chloe's place. The other day when Chloe said she had morning sickness and no appetite, Ethan immediately got a Michelin chef to cook specially for her. Tisk tisk, isn't Chloe just that college student the company sponsored? I heard her family was struggling. Who knew she'd be so calculating? Exactly, she looks so pure and innocent, but sigh, the CEO's wife is so pitiful, still completely in the dark. I didn't hear anything after that. The matcha cake fell from my hands, the elegant box breaking open, green frosting staining the polished marble floor as disheveled as my suddenly shattered world. Chloe. The name pierced my heart like a poisoned thorn. The impoverished college student Ethan had sponsored. A girl I had once found inspiring and pitiful, even suggesting Ethan take better care of her. All along they had been having an affair. All along his gentle attentiveness wasn't exclusively mine. All along, while I carefully nurtured the child in my womb, enduring various pregnancy discomforts, he was also caring for another woman even more meticulously. And that woman was also carrying his child. How ironic. How absurd. Like a wandering spirit, I floated out of the Apex Innovations building into the blinding sunlight, feeling no warmth whatsoever. Struggling against dizziness and nausea, I returned home and locked myself in the bedroom, trying to process this sudden devastating information. By evening, I finally emerged, heading to the bathroom to splash some water on my face and clear my head. Just as I reached the bathroom door, I heard suppressed vomiting from inside and Ethan's exceptionally gentle reassurances. Feeling better? I shouldn't have let you eat that greasy soup. Here, rinse your mouth. The door wasn't completely closed, leaving a small gap. Through that gap, I clearly saw Ethan half crouching on the floor, holding a glass of water, carefully patting a young woman's back. That woman was Chloe. Pale-faced, she leaned against Ethan, looking utterly helpless and pitiful. Ethan's expression was one I'd never seen before, overflowing with concern and anxiety. He gently wiped the corners of Chloe's mouth, speaking softly to comfort her, showing more patience and care than he ever had for me, his legal wife. In that moment, I felt as if an invisible hand had seized my heart and crushed it. All my wishful thinking, all my self-deception disintegrated in that instant. I silently retreated to the bedroom, closed the door, and slid to the floor with my back against it. Tears finally surged forth, silently soaking my clothes. So the employee's gossip hadn't been baseless. He had actually brought her to our home. While I was suffering from pregnancy symptoms and needed care, he was in our house tending to another woman pregnant with his child. I could even imagine how he'd lied to me, claiming urgent company meetings or sudden business trips, only to return to this home to attend to his other family. Dinner time. The table was set with a meal Ethan had carefully prepared. My pregnancy symptoms had killed my appetite, but I forced myself to take a few bites anyway. The atmosphere was tense. Ethan seemed to notice my low spirits and hesitated several times before speaking. Olivia, he put down his chopsticks and took my hand. Are you feeling unwell? Or are you still upset about what happened earlier today? He was referring to my sullen mood since returning from the office. I looked up, meeting his concerned gaze filled with what appeared to be sincerity. Suddenly I wanted to know just how far his lies could stretch. Ethan. I gently withdrew my hand and looked directly into his eyes, deliberately asking, if, hypothetically speaking, if one day both me and the baby in my womb suddenly disappeared, what would you do? His face instantly turned pale, his pupils constricted, and his voice changed pitch. What nonsense are you talking about? Don't say such things. Olivia, how could you even think that? He abruptly stood up, came around the table to my side, and embraced me tightly, almost suffocatingly. Olivia, you and the baby are everything to me. I can't live without you. Absolutely not. Promise me you'll never have such terrible thoughts, okay? His voice carried a barely perceptible tremor, as if truly frightened by my hypothetical scenario. If I hadn't seen and heard everything with my own eyes and ears, I might have been moved again by his apparent devotion. He released me and pulled out an elegant velvet box from his pocket. Inside lay a delicate gold-inlaid jade pendant engraved with characters meaning peace and joy. I had this specially blessed by a master for you and our baby. It will protect you both and keep you safe and healthy. He carefully placed the pendant around my neck. Olivia, promise me for my sake and for our babies that you'll take care of yourself. The cool jade against my skin couldn't warm my already frozen heart. A longevity lock? Peace and joy. What tremendous irony. He wished for my safety and our child's while nurturing another hope elsewhere. I lowered my head, looking at the pendant on my chest, and softly said, "Thank you, I love it." But my heart was bleeding. The tender moment didn't last long. Ethan's phone rang. He glanced at the caller ID, his eyes flickering momentarily before quickly muting it, though he didn't hang up. The name flashing on the screen was unmistakable. Chloe. He casually returned the phone to his pocket and smiled at me. There's an urgent matter at the office I need to handle. You should rest early, don't wait up for me. Again with the office, again with urgent matters. Such a clumsy excuse. I looked at him without exposing his lie, just nodding. Okay, be careful on your way. He bent down to plant a light kiss on my forehead, his movements still gentle though his eyes were evasive. Be good. He grabbed his jacket and hurried out. The moment the door closed, the pendant around my neck felt like it weighed 1,000 pounds, making it hard to breathe. I walked to the window, watching his car disappear into the night. I knew he wasn't heading to the office but to another woman who needed his comfort. My heart turned completely cold. Back in the bedroom, my phone screen lit up with a WhatsApp notification. I opened it to find a message from Chloe. A photo. The background was unmistakably my and Ethan's bedroom. Chloe was wearing Ethan's shirt, lounging lazily against the headboard, one hand caressing her belly, the other holding up her phone for a selfie. Her face showed undisguised triumph and provocation. Following that came a text message. Sister Olivia, are you asleep? Ethan just left, said there was an emergency at the company. He told me not to tell you, afraid you'd worry. By the way, do you like the longevity pendant Ethan bought me today? He said this style suits me best and had it specially blessed for me and my baby. The accompanying image showed a slender wrist wearing a golden laid jade pendant identical to the one around my neck. So the specially obtained gift was nothing more than a bulk purchase, one for each woman. My stomach churned violently again. Chloe's messages continued. Oh, and these baby items Ethan brought home this afternoon, he said he bought them for you. But I checked them and the quality is mediocre, the style's outdated. I told him not to give them to you to spare you the disappointment. These things aren't good enough for me, but you can keep them. The final attached photo showed several baby items carelessly tossed in a corner. The very ones Ethan had brought home that evening. So what I received were her leftovers. Just like his care was shared with me, clearly ranked second. Every word cut deep. Chloe's intention was obvious, to provoke me to flaunt her victory. I stared at those glaring messages and images, my knuckles turning white. Anger, humiliation, sorrow. All these emotions intertwined, nearly consuming me. But strangely, after the extreme pain, I became calm. Like a drowning person who, after giving up the struggle, somehow finds an eerie peace. Fine. This is fine. He helped me cut off my last thread of hesitation. I suddenly remembered how I had initially introduced this trouble named Chloe into Ethan's life. It happened last year at the company's annual meeting when Ethan, as CEO, announced a long-term sponsorship program for underprivileged college students. Chloe was among the first recipients, speaking as a student representative at the event. She wore a faded old dress, standing timidly on stage, recounting her difficult educational journey and her aspirations for the future, her eyes sparkling with thirst for knowledge and defiance against fate. Back then she seemed so pure, so deserving of help. After the meeting I found Ethan and said, "That girl called Chloe seems to have had it rough, but she's ambitious. When you get the chance, look after her a bit more. You might help change her life." Ethan smiled and agreed. My wife is always so kind-hearted. Looking back now, the irony is overwhelming. My kindness brought a viper into my life. I was truly blind, incapable of judging character. My gaze fell to that inconspicuous corner under the bed where I indeed found the baby items Chloe had disdained, lying there forlornly as if silently mocking my stupidity. Enough. This is truly enough. I'm done with this nauseating charade. I can't stand another second in this home filled with lies and betrayal. I'm leaving. Taking my child and getting as far away from here as possible. Ethan said he was going to a neighboring city on a business trip, for a few days attending an important industry summit. I knew this was just another excuse to spend time with Chloe. This would give me the time I needed. For the next few days I operated like a precision-engineered robot, executing my plan with methodical efficiency. First, I contacted the lawyer who had previously handled some of my personal affairs to initiate identity deletion procedures. This required special channels and complex formalities, but money solved most problems. I utilized a portion of my premarital assets to ensure this would be completed quickly and cleanly. Then I began packing. I took only my personal belongings, some cash and untraceable assets. Everything related to Ethan. Photos, gifts, mementos. I piled in the fireplace and burned to ashes. The dancing flames devoured those false sweet memories, incinerating the last shred of attachment in my heart. During this time I received an encrypted package containing confirmation that my original identity information had been completely erased, along with a set of new legal identity documents. From now on I was no longer Olivia Miller but someone else. A brand new individual with no connection to my past. Looking at the blurred destination information on the delivery slip, I felt no fear, only a calm sense of liberation. Ethan returned from his business trip, looking cheerful, probably having enjoyed his pleasant time with Chloe. He suggested going out for a nice dinner to celebrate his successful return. I agreed. This dinner was destined to be our last supper. During the meal he seemed to notice my bare neck and asked with confusion, "Where's your jade pendant? Why aren't you wearing it?" "Oh, I accidentally got it wet while showering a few days ago. I took it to the jeweler for cleaning and maintenance, afraid the jade might be damaged." I lied effortlessly, my tone as casual as discussing the weather. He didn't suspect anything, only cautioning me, "Be more careful next time. That's meant to protect both you and our baby." Protection again. I nearly laughed out loud. Halfway through dinner his phone rang. Chloe, of course. He displayed that familiar, slightly apologetic expression. "Sorry Olivia, work is urgent. I need to head back right away." "Go ahead." I didn't even bother pretending anymore, just focused on cutting the steak on my plate. He seemed surprised by my calmness but eager to leave. He didn't think much of it. He quickly paid the bill, planted a kiss on my forehead and departed. Watching his silhouette disappear through the restaurant door, my heart died completely. This man wasn't worth wasting a single ounce of emotion on anymore. At 3 in the morning, in the dead of night, I stood with my packed suitcase, taking one final look at the house that had contained my 2-year marriage. No nostalgia, no reluctance, only resolute farewell to the past. I quietly closed the door behind me and melted into the boundless darkness. Goodbye, Ethan. Goodbye to the foolish, love-blind Olivia. 3 days later, after handling Chloe's complicated, emotional issues, Ethan finally returned to our shared home. What greeted him was deathly silence. He called out as usual, "Olivia, I'm home," but received no response. He walked into the living room and discovered that the huge wedding portrait that once hung on the wall was gone. In its place was a blank wall, like a silent mockery. His heart sank with an ominous feeling. He rushed into the bedroom. In the closet, all my clothes, shoes and bags, even the cosmetics and skincare products on the vanity, had vanished without a trace, as if they had never existed. The expensive diamond ring he had given me wasn't in the jewelry box either. Everything belonging to Olivia had evaporated into thin air. All that remained were the maternity items and baby clothes he had purchased, neatly folded on the nightstand like a silent accusation. Ethan panicked. He immediately grabbed his phone and dialed my number. Instead of the familiar ringtone, a cold, automated voice responded. "Sorry, the number you have dialed is not in service. Please check the number and dial again." A disconnected number? How could that be? Refusing to give up, he tried to log into our joint bank account. The system prompted, "User information does not exist." The secondary card information he had for me on several shopping websites also failed, showing invalid user. Even our shared supermarket membership cards and gym memberships couldn't retrieve any information about me. It was as if Olivia Miller had never left any trace in this world. A massive wave of panic seized Ethan. This was too abnormal. Even if I had stormed out after an argument, how could I have erased all information so thoroughly? Ethan completely lost his composure. He couldn't accept this bizarre reality. He rushed to the police station to report that his wife was missing. The officer who received him entered my name and identity information into the system and after repeated searches frowned and told him, "Mr. Miller, I'm sorry, but according to our records there is no such person named Olivia Miller with the information you provided." Ethan frantically produced our marriage certificate and my photograph. "That's impossible. This is my wife. She's 5 months pregnant. She couldn't just disappear without reason. The officer explained patiently. Typically, when someone's information is completely removed from official systems, there are only two possibilities: either death registration or the person themselves legally applying for and completing identity deletion procedures. From what we can see, there's no death record for your wife in the system. Voluntary identity cancellation. Ethan was stunned. He couldn't comprehend why Olivia would do something like this. It seemed utterly surreal. Amid the tremendous shock and panic, Ethan immediately thought of Chloe. Did Olivia know something? Had Chloe said something to her? He immediately drove to Chloe's place, a luxury apartment he had rented for her. Ethan knocked on the door, his heart pounding. Chloe was lounging on the couch, casually snacking on sunflower seeds while watching TV. She jumped when Ethan burst in, scattering seeds across the floor. Ethan, what are you doing here? I thought we agreed to meet later. Where's Olivia? What did you do to her? Ethan's eyes blazed with fury, resembling an enraged lion. Chloe was startled by his demeanor but quickly regained her composure. Clutching her stomach, she feigned a pained expression. Ow, my stomach. It hurts so bad. She attempted to use her old trick, pretending to be experiencing pregnancy discomfort to garner sympathy. But Ethan, consumed by Olivia's disappearance, had lost all patience. Glancing at the scattered seed shells on the floor and Chloe's exaggerated performance, his anger flared. Cut the act. Olivia's gone. All her information has been erased. What did you do? What did you tell her? Realizing her charade wasn't working, Chloe's eyes flickered with panic. She stubbornly insisted, I don't know what you're talking about. How is it my fault she's missing? Maybe she just couldn't handle things anymore. Shut up. Ethan roared, his emotions boiling over. He lunged forward, grabbing Chloe's arm and yanking her roughly. In the ensuing struggle, Chloe cried out as she lost her balance and fell backward. As she hit the ground, something flesh-colored and round tumbled out from under her clothes, rolling onto the carpet. It was a silicone fake belly. The air froze. Ethan stared at the prosthetic, then at Chloe's flat stomach. His mind went blank, a dull roar filling his ears. It's fake. Ethan's voice was hoarse with shock. Chloe's face drained of color, knowing the jig was up. She picked herself up off the floor, dusting herself off with a resigned expression. Yeah, it's fake. I was never pregnant, she admitted with a cold laugh. It was all a lie from the start. Ethan staggered back, staring in disbelief at the woman he'd been so carefully nurturing, believing she carried his child. Why? Why would you do this? He felt his world crumbling again. Why? Chloe scoffed as if he'd told a ridiculous joke. Ethan, you didn't actually think I was some pure, innocent little flower, did you? You thought I was just after your money and support. She advanced on him, her eyes venomous. I wanted revenge. Revenge on you and on that high and mighty Olivia. Why does she get everything while I have to struggle? Why does she get your love and marriage so easily while I'm just your dirty little secret? So you faked a pregnancy to trick me? And deliberately provoked Olivia. Ethan felt a chill run from his feet to his head. That's right. Chloe made no attempt to hide her malice. I told Olivia everything about us ages ago, with plenty of embellishments. The intimate photos of us together, that longevity lock you bought me, even those cheap gifts you got her. I made sure she knew about all of it. I wanted her to suffer. To know that everything she had I could take away. To feel what it's like to be betrayed and abandoned. I wanted to make her miserable. Chloe's voice was shrill and manic. Ethan finally understood. Olivia hadn't vanished without reason. She had learned the whole truth, her heart shattered, and chosen this extreme method to leave him completely, to disappear from this world that caused her so much pain. With the truth of Olivia's departure confirmed, all of Ethan's support crumbled. He collapsed onto the sofa, drained of all energy. He covered his face, letting out anguished sobs. It was him. He had destroyed his own marriage with his own hands, driving away the woman he loved most and their unborn child. He thought he could deceive everyone, skillfully juggling two women, but he never imagined the fire would ultimately consume him, burning everything he had to ashes. Overwhelming regret and anguish engulfed him. After a long while he raised his head, his gaze icy and sharp as a poisoned blade. He looked at Chloe, who was still ranting and venting her grievances, and spoke each word deliberately. You won't get anything you wanted. He took out his phone and right in front of Chloe called his lawyer and assistant. Immediately cease all financial support and assistance to Miss Chloe. Reclaim the apartment and vehicle provided under my name. Terminate all business dealings related to her. His voice was calm but carried an undeniable finality. The smugness and mania on Chloe's face instantly froze, replaced by disbelieving panic. Ethan, you can't do this to me. You promised you'd take care of me. She lunged forward, trying to grab his arm. Ethan shook her off in disgust. Take care of you? A lying, vicious woman like you doesn't deserve anyone's care. Didn't you want to know what it feels like to be alone and helpless? I'll make sure you get your wish. With that, he turned and left the place filled with lies and dirty deals, not sparing Chloe another glance. He had to find Olivia. Even if she had erased her identity, even if she had hidden at the ends of the earth, he would bring her back. Ethan began frantically searching for any clues that might lead to Olivia's whereabouts like a man possessed. He obtained all the surveillance footage from around their neighborhood but only saw Olivia disappearing around a street corner in the early hours, dragging a suitcase and getting into a taxi with an untraceable license plate. He searched every relative and friend's house where she might have gone but came up empty-handed. Just as he was on the verge of despair while clearing out trash at home, he stumbled upon a crumpled delivery package. The packaging was ordinary, but he keenly noticed the return address, an institution called County Records Office in a neighboring city. Identity cancellation. The police officer's words flashed through his mind. Olivia must have gone there to cancel her identity. This discovery made him tremble. It was the only concrete lead he had found so far. Ethan immediately drove to the county records office in the neighboring city. He rushed to the service counter, anxiously inquiring if a woman named Olivia Miller had recently come to cancel her identity. The staff initially refused to disclose any information, citing privacy protection. Ethan was nearly on his knees. He pulled out their marriage certificate and photos of Olivia during her pregnancy, his voice breaking as he spoke. He poured his heart out, painting a vivid picture of a husband's desperate worry for his missing pregnant wife. He repeatedly emphasized that Olivia was carrying their child and could be in serious danger out there alone. Perhaps it was his genuine emotion that moved the staff member, or perhaps it was concern for a pregnant woman's safety. After thoroughly verifying his identity and examining the documentation he provided, a woman who appeared to be a supervisor finally relented. She accessed the internal system and searched for quite some time, then turned to Ethan to tell him what she had found. Mr. Miller, an individual matching the basic profile you provided, did initiate and complete an identity cancellation process here recently. However, I cannot disclose any further details regarding her new identity or whereabouts. All I can tell you is that there is no indication of foul play or danger associated with this file. The process was completed legally and voluntarily. Although Ethan didn't get specific information about her whereabouts, learning that Olivia had left voluntarily and was currently safe allowed him to breathe a little easier. Most importantly, she wasn't dead. She had just gone somewhere else. Gone somewhere else. A foreign country. Ethan caught the vague information that the staff member had inadvertently revealed. This meant she had likely left the United States. A powerful, almost desperate hope surged within him. He could still find her. He still had a chance. He had to find her, confess his wrongdoings, and beg for her forgiveness. Meanwhile, on the other side of the world, in a pleasant European town with a mild climate and beautiful scenery. I had a new name now, just call me Liv, and a completely new identity. With the funds I'd brought, I purchased a small storefront in the town center and opened a bubble tea shop. The space wasn't large, but I decorated it with a cozy, elegant touch. I designed the menu myself using fresh ingredients to create uniquely flavored drinks. Life in the small town moved at a slow pace, and the neighborly relationships were simple and friendly. People were curious about me, this new Eastern woman, but they also gave me enough respect and space. My bubble tea shop quickly became popular with locals and tourists alike. Each day was busy and fulfilling. Watching customers enjoy the drinks I prepared with my own hands, seeing the satisfied smiles on their faces, I felt a serenity and happiness I'd never experienced before. The baby in my womb grew day by day, its movements becoming more pronounced. Each time I felt its vitality, I was filled with anticipation for the future. The dark clouds of the past seemed truly left far behind it. Here there was no Ethan, no Chloe, none of those suffocating lies and betrayals. Only sunshine, the fragrance of bubble tea, and the new life about to arrive. I thought my new beginning had started just like that. The peaceful life was disrupted by an unexpected visitor several months later. It was a perfect sunny afternoon and I was busy in the shop when a familiar figure pushed open the glass door. It was Ethan. He looked much more haggard, thinner, with sunken eyes and unkempt beard. His suit was wrinkled with no trace of his once confident demeanor. He stood in the doorway, his gaze fixed on me, his expression complex, filled with shock, wild joy, as well as deep pain and remorse. "Olivia, no, Liv. I finally found you." His voice was hoarse, trembling with disbelief. The other customers in the shop looked over curiously. I took a deep breath, struggling to maintain outward calm as I walked up to him, my voice cold. "Sir, what would you like to order?" Ethan's eyes instantly reddened. He stepped forward, trying to grab my hand, which I subtly avoided. "Liv, I know I was wrong. I truly know I was wrong." He began to confess recklessly, his voice breaking. "Chloe lied to me. She wasn't pregnant at all. Everything was her scheme." "Sir," I interrupted him, my tone distant. "If you're not here to buy bubble tea, please leave and stop disrupting my business." "Liv, listen to me." Ethan's emotions flared up. "I can't live without you. Without our child. I know I was a bastard inhuman. But please give me one more chance. We can start over, can't we? I swear I'll only be good to you and our child for the rest of my life." He was in tears, nearly on his knees. The gazes around us grew more intense. I looked at this sobbing man in front of me and felt nothing stir within my heart. The greatest sorrow is a dead heart. I suppose that's what it feels like. "Ethan," I looked at him calmly, speaking each word clearly and distinctly. "What we had ended long ago. It ended the moment you chose to deceive and betray me. I don't love you anymore." These 4 words came out with exceptional clarity and surprising ease. As if I'd put down 1,000-pound weight. "I'll raise the child myself. He has me and that's enough. We're doing very well now, so please stop bothering us." Ethan seemed unable to believe his ears. He grabbed my arm roughly with considerable force. "No. I don't believe it. How could you not love me anymore? Olivia, we have so many beautiful memories. Let go." My voice turned cold. "Ethan, those so-called beautiful memories only make me feel sick when I think about them now. Go away, don't make me call the police." His hand froze, his eyes filled with despair and disbelief. Ethan didn't give up after that. In the days that followed, he was like a ghost, appearing near my bubble tea shop every day. Sometimes he just stood at the street corner watching me, sometimes he tried to approach and talk to me, sometimes he sent expensive gifts. His persistence began to bother and annoy me. I rejected all his gifts and ignored all his overtures and apologies. But he remained relentless. Until one day when he tried to force his way into my residence and was stopped by a neighbor I had called. I finally lost the last of my patience. I called the police. Due to issues with Ethan's visa plus his continuous harassment, the local authorities quickly deported him back to the United States. As I watched him being taken away by the police, his dejected and desperate figure, I felt no satisfaction in my heart nor any pity. Just a complete sense of liberation and peace. Like deleting a redundant and constantly error-producing code, the world became clean again. I heard that after Ethan returned to the United States, he completely fell apart. Having lost me and the child about to be born, he seemed to have lost all his spiritual pillars. On top of that, he had previously used substantial funds and connections to search for me, neglecting company affairs, which led to serious operational crises at Apex Innovations. Several important projects failed, the funding chain broke, and eventually the company declared bankruptcy. From a high and mighty corporate CEO, he became a man with nothing. Fortune, status, family. Everything he had once prided himself on dissolved into nothing. Later I heard he had developed a drinking problem, his health had deteriorated and he was chronically ill, living in a daze. Some said that in his rare moments of sobriety he still often muttered my name, Olivia. But what did that matter? Everything was too late. Several months later I gave birth to a healthy son. He had eyes like mine, bright and clear. Holding this soft, sweet little one, I felt my world was complete. The bubble tea business got better and better, and I even hired 2 assistants. Life in the small town was peaceful and beautiful. Occasionally I would hear snippets about Ethan's miserable situation through some roundabout news. My heart no longer stirred. At most there was just a faint smile. The path was his choice, and the bitter fruit could only be swallowed by himself.